I'm back. So I just wanted to say something about grocery shopping, which has been like whatever that word is. It's been daunting for me. I have two littles, but now my son is in school, so I've been utilizing that time, taking advantage of that time when he's in school, and I only have my daughter. So I'm only bringing one child, and I'll go early as possible just so that there are less people in the store, which means the line. I'm not the only person. My daughter and I are not the only person in the world, so I understand that there will be lines. But again, I'm just being mindful. Okay, I have my daughter. She may not be in the best mood, even though we may need the groceries. So I I just make sure during the week I'm making note of whatever we need. That way, when it's the day for us, because I have a set day, when it's time for us to go to the grocery store, we have that list. And I like the pen and paper rather than making notes in my phone. Probably because I have storage issues, but it prevents me from getting sidetracked. If I'm on my phone and I get a notification, I may be tempted to just click that notification or answer that call. That's another thing. I'll try not to answer the call because that is my time with my daughter. We are out and about. I'm not only spending time with her, QT time, but I like to be aware of my surroundings. So if I'm on the phone and I'm with my daughter and I'm grocery shopping, that's a lot going on. Can I do it? Yes. Have I done it? Yes. I just try to be mindful of that. Okay. Just wanted to say that. And plus safety, right? You never know who's watching you. So I don't know. I'm a worry wart, especially when it comes to my littles. So I have my list. I also have a wagon. I do not use the grocery store cart. My wagon is always in my car, just like my bags. I always make sure I reload my bags. I will not purchase new bags. I have my reasonings for that. If I don't have my grocery bags, then I don't have my grocery bags. I'm just not going to buy more when I have more than 15 bags at home. That does not make sense for me. I'm just not that it doesn't make sense. I'm not okay with it. So that said, so my list, my bags, and my wagon. If you want to use a shopping cart, just be mindful. Like I know for me, I would always want to park at that very first parking spot in front of the entrance. And they've changed some things around, especially with grocery store pickups or online order, however that works. Those spots are actually reserved for those people. So I'm not able to park right there in front, which makes me worry again that, okay, now I have to be mindful of other cars because this is an active parking lot. Okay, so Mommy. Yeah, baby. I have my handwritten list. I have my wagon. My child is in my wagon. I have my bags. She'll ride in the wagon for the first couple of minutes. You want me to read? When I made my list, I made sure to take a mental note of the fact, not the fact, but of the layout of the grocery store. Like I know I know my way around the store. That means once I go in through it's 2 entrances. I go in through the same entrance every time. That way I can start from there. Like it's fruits and vegetables and flowers. So that's where my list starts. I start off with the fruits and vegetables, flowers. Then it's the snack aisle, hit my snacks. Then it's the meat aisle, hit my meats. And during the snack aisle, my daughter will be tempted to try to go and grab and reach for other snacks. Even if she does that, I let her get that out of her system. She wanted to grab something and put it in a cart. Okay, but I also let her know we are not taking this home. Let's see if we can remember where this was on the shelf. Let's try to put it back. And I continue grabbing what I need while I, of course, keeping an eye on her. And then we move on to the next section. It works for me. Not saying that every child would be, or every parent is able to do the same thing. Okay. I am trying to keep things as smooth as possible. So I prefer not to carry snacks on us for my daughter. And that's just because I don't want her putting her hands, like guaranteed she's probably going to put her hands in her mouth for whatever reason anyway, or put her mouth on something that she shouldn't be. So I don't want to give her more of a reason to do so, but I do find that some parents are more comfortable with giving their child a snack while they're in store. And I'm also teaching my daughter to be patient. So I just make sure she's fed before we go, and it's in between nap time, which means she may get a little cranky, but this is that last bit of energy she needs to burn out before we go home for her nap. Also wanted to say is I consider this like an activity for my daughter. She gets to interact with other people, be social with the workers, with the employees, and there's also a lot of elderly people at that hour, and they love her. It's like, it's so heartwarming. She will really just, I don't know, she brings smiles to literally everyone. Every hour we pass, it's always someone that wants to interact with her. Anyway, also learning, she's learning about her colors, her shapes, and she gets to learn about learn practical life skills. So that's a huge plus for me. And although it may not be the easiest, it's something that I'm going to continue to do for as long as she shows me interest. Right now, her and my son are showing interest in it, and I just wanted to take advantage of that. I also wanted to say that I use 3 grocery bags, 3 reusable grocery bags rather, because I was doing shopping once a week, right? And I was trying to get every little item we needed. I was like, oh, we have to get it. This is my one chance to get it. And I was putting so much pressure on myself, and I would come home with 5 or 6 bags, and that's too much. After, having 5 or 6 bags, I still have to get those bags inside the car with my daughter. She's playing. And then I have to get those bags in our apartment. There are stairs, so I have to worry about that. Like, okay, I have to make sure she goes upstairs safely while I'm carrying all 6 bags, and they may not be the light bags, So yeah, I'm the one carrying all bags at all times just to knock it out. So now I put less pressure on myself and say, okay, only 3 bags. Fill up 3 bags, and I say, get out of the store. You gotta go. So with those 3 bags, it still may be heavy, but it's manageable to carry upstairs and walk with my daughter going upstairs at the same time. There are times where she may have had like a fussy, moment. Maybe she didn't want to get out the car. Maybe, I don't know, for whatever reason, I need to just kind of carry her like a football. So I throw the 3 bags on my shoulder, and I'm still able to carry her upstairs into our apartment. I have seen people using bins, put the bags in the bins and then carry the bin up the stairs that way. Our staircase is kind of dangerous, so I don't want to carry a bin. I'd rather just have the bags on my shoulder. But for some, it may just be better to throw it in a bin, get like a basket, not a bin, a laundry basket. I have a folding laundry basket. Please don't do that, Mama. It folds flat, so if you have a smaller car like I do, then it won't take up as much space in your car. So with my wagon and shopping with my daughter, she actually loves to fill the wagon up herself, and it's low, so which means it's closer to her. And with a shopping cart, you did it. Good job, baby. Very good. Yeah. With the shopping cart, it was just kind of higher, and she would have to put things over her head and push them into the shopping cart, which is fine. But if the item is heavy, then it's kind of dangerous. Well done. And she loves to push. I tell her she plays an important role. Like, oh my gosh, I need you. I can't pull it. Can you push from that end? And I just kind of keep an eye on her that way. So let's say we make it to the checkout line. I go to whichever one is convenient for us. I prefer not to do self-checkout just because, again, I'm handling a toddler, and if I have 3 grocery bags worth of groceries, it's easier to have someone else scanning the item. But if I only have 1 bag or maybe 5, just a couple items, then the self-checkout is actually pretty fun for my daughter and I, or if I have my son as well, it's fun for us, so I can teach them to scan things, and they like to use the card or cash, whatever. But anyways, we have 3 bags. We load things on the conveyor belt. I have my daughter help me with that. Like, she must help me. At that point, she's like, no, she puts her 2 cents in it. And it's great that she helps me because the CANDY is right there. I do not want her getting into any of that. Sometimes she realizes like, oh yeah, this is where the goods are, you know? And I let her show me, and then I just put it back. Oh, nice. Oh yeah, okay. We're gonna leave that right there, type of thing. And then we continue loading. With them loading the conveyor belt, you know, we do have our own bags, reusable bags, and we have to load our bags. There's no back person to load the bags. So I was really frustrated when that became a thing, because I'm like, I have 2 little kids. How are you telling me I'm also going to have to bag it? I gotta pay. I gotta, like, anyway, whole thing. Not quite over that yet, okay? But anyway, so bagging my own stuff. I have a set bag for the refrigerator and freezer items that I like to use. I'm sorry, I'm not looking at the camera. Still getting used to this. If there is someone there loading or bagging your stuff up, great. Sometimes there's rare occasion that someone will, or the cashier will start loading up, because I said 3 bags of stuff. She'll say, give me the bag. I'll put some stuff in the bag. Which is great. And I think they do that because they see I have a little person, and I think little people bring joy to adults and other people, even the other kids. Like, it's so cool. So some instances I have gotten help with loading the bags, but again, I try to be mindful of what belongs in the freezer and what belongs in the refrigerator, and I try to keep it in that one bag, you know. Sometimes that bag is heavy. Yeah. So having all and also only 3 bags fit in the shopping cart. I mean, in the wagon, because remember, I'm not using the shopping cart, in the wagon. So it works out perfectly. I have usually the 1 bag for cold, and then the rest for all the in-betweens. Now the in-betweens, like the dried goods and pasta and canned beans or snacks, that stuff can actually be put on the back burner. I'm worried about bringing that cold stuff inside the apartment first. Although I like to bring everything upstairs at once, including my kids. I, again, am trying to just take a load off myself because I was doing too much, you know. Groceries are heavy, and shopping with my toddler is, even though I try to make it fun, it's still a lot mentally on me. And then carrying all the bags upstairs at once physically is a lot. Even if I have to go back down the stairs and come back up, it's still a lot, because then mentally I'm like, okay, my toddler is awake. If I got to go downstairs and go back. So with the 3 bags, I'm able to carry the 3 bags plus my toddler all at the same time, bring all of the stuff inside. And remember, I still have to put this stuff away. So if I don't feel like putting all that energy and putting stuff away, I'm only going to carry that cold bag, the cold stuff that needs to be refrigerated and put in the freezer. Everything else will get left behind in the car, and I am so happy. At that point, I'm storing stuff in the car now for a later time. Maybe during that time, I will run out and grab the rest of the stuff. Or maybe once I pick up my son from school, you know, since we are in the car anyway, I'll just grab the bags and go up then, instead of making an extra trip down the stairs. Okay, with bringing the food inside, I have to first get my daughter settled. That's a task in itself, because now we're home. Now she's ready to just unload the groceries, but I want to wash our hands. I want to take off shoes. I want to even get her comfortable, because it's close to lunch and nap time. So I want to be prepared for all that goodness. So after we do all that, then we head over to the kitchen and I unload and organize the stuff. I'll assign her a task, meaning, let's say I have the fruits and veggies. I'll let her wash that in the sink, and I can focus on putting everything else away without having the fear of stepping on her. You're welcome, baby. Because she's right behind me trying to take something out the bag and hand it to me, and then I reach a certain way and don't realize she's right there. It happens. Also remembering to rotate the food or fruit or drinks that I do have. Let's say milk. Maybe we have just a little bit of milk left in the refrigerator. I'm going to pull that to the front and put the new one to the back. Or maybe let's say Parmesan cheese, or grated cheese rather. Or even cheese itself, like I have to hide the fresh new packets because I don't know, maybe you're like me, you have someone in your household that may not be aware that you need to finish something first before you open the new one. Maybe they thought it was finished already, I should say. So now you have two things open, and then the old one spoils before you got to finish it because you were using the new one. However that goes. Yeah, so the main thing for me is that I've set aside time and that there is no rush, but I am being very mindful that of how my daughter feels. And I'm checking on her, even if I'm not specifically saying, "Are you okay? How are you doing?" Even if I ask her that, she'll say, "I'm okay." You know, she doesn't have a full understanding like, oh, of time and things of that nature, meaning that it's getting close to her nap time or closer to the time she may eat again. So yeah, I just try to remember, like, these days don't last forever. And I just want to say, because people always say that, right? So I'm reminding myself that she's not perfect in the supermarket. This child, she will run and she escapes me. Sometimes I let her, I'm, like I said, I'm keeping an eye on her, and then I just see her take off. And I'm like, oh, she thinks that I'm really not going to catch up to her. So it's a game. Maybe not every time, but majority of the time she will ditch the shopping cart and just take off down the aisle, and then I have to go running, and everybody is like, why is this lady running? And they just see this, or they see the little person and then they see me running behind her. So she thinks it's the most funniest thing in the world, and she'll do that at least once, and by that time I'm like, okay, it's time to go. I know you've had enough of the supermarket. Let's get out of here. You're right. Mommy's been in here too long. Okay, hopefully this loads.